Avast ahoy and g'day once again to ye mateys! I be your torrentially grandiose and existentially bizarre DM Josh the Pirate, and it brings me a deep and encompassing sense of satisfaction to welcome you back to Corsair's Cove and a start of a new season in me Humblewood world of monsters and magic. With me, I have some of me hearty crew, the enduring Karen Schlink and the recurring Rhythm in the Mind. So, who the absolute heck are you lovely folks? Karen, who the absolute heck are you?
Hello, I am Karen, sometimes known as the Mother of Bunnies. I am a performer, a writer, a puppeteer, an internet addict. You can follow me on Twitter, where I retweet cute bunny pictures and get mad about stuff. Or you can follow my saucy burlesque alter ego, Miss Lola Moore, on Instagram, where I try and keep people up to date on what she's doing. Or you can listen to my dulcet tones, both here and on the D&D podcast, There Be Dragons, available through your preferred podcasting accessing platform.
The internet. And, no, we've talked about Karen. Rhythm, who the heck are you?
I, the heck, am a writer, amateur sketch artist, and writer again, because why not? I write Touch Web Serial over at touchwebserial.com. Other than that, I can be found on Discord, where I linger, much like D-Rab, whom, by the way, I have eaten. He will not be returning. Apart from that, I do this, underwhelmingly. And that's it. Hi!
And Mesdames et Messieurs, Damen und Herren, and beings of indeterminate gender and persuasion, I think I be Josh the Pirate. I'm struggling with names today. Names are hard. I just shouted at Karen to be quiet. I meant Siri.
I did wonder what was going
Karen!
on.
Shut the dog up!
I'm not the one barking. Why are you mad at me?
I'm sorry, everybody.
I would never shout at the neighbours. They're bigger than me.
True. Yes,
And
I be Josh the
unlike
Pirate.
Siri, I do not possess indestructible self-confidence.
That is true. Siri does possess indestructible self-confidence. Yeah, I be Josh the Pirate. You can find me here on my channel, Corsair's Cove, which I run with my lovely lady wife, the Mother of Bunnies. Yeah, we play D&D here. Hey, Katie Wolfsbane. Good to see you, my dear. Yes, you can find me here on Monday nights. Next Monday, Karen and I will be playing some 1- and 2-player little mini games while we figure out our scheduling of what other RPG shit we're going to do. Tuesday, I will be looking more at yet more different RPG systems for Tactics Tuesday. Wednesday, the Teens in Space crew will be back for the finale of that little jaunt. And then next Thursday, we will be having the full crew of Monsters and Magic back for the, this is the official start, but the main group start of Monsters Magic Season 4. And tomorrow night, I will be over on the Lawrights channel, not on the Lawright. I think of Ardana as the Lawrights. I'm not going to be on her, but I will be on their channel. Because it could be a bit awkward. I'd have to go to Sweden as well. So yeah, I'll be over on the Lawrights channel for the beginning of their thing. The name of which it's got a name. Hang on. I'm bad at this. Sorry. Shadow over Morna. For the beginning of Shadow over Morna, a 7th Sea game, which is very exciting. I get to learn a new thing. Yeah, got saucy early. Oh, mate. It's been a day, it's been a time, and a place. It's been many things. If you enjoy my majestic voice, but you think I could stand to tone the face down a bit, you can check me out on the podcast There Be Dragons, as well as Scan Felspar, the infamous and deadly pirate, and his little dragon, Rosh. Yeah, I think that's about it at the moment. Paparotica isn't happening for a hot minute. So that's about it, ladies and gents. There's lots of cool stuff coming up. Some various TTRPGs, and a little bit more D&D for your viewing pleasure. Karen, can you tell me about the people of Ukraine, please?
I can, Josh. Ukraine. You may remember they got into a war with Russia last year. Well, unfortunately, that's still very much a thing. I know there's been lots of other things since then. It's hard to keep up with all the things, but this is still a thing. And there's still something you can do to help.
Nice.
So we have 2 links in chat. One is for the Emergency Action Appeal. This is an Australian collaboration of charities and not-for-profits that you can click through and donate to. Or you can use the second link to go purchase the Curious Compendium of Slavic Myth, which, as the name suggests, is inspired by Ukraine and that general area of Europe. There are some subclasses, some creatures. There's a cool, handy-dandy one-shot, which we have actually played, and is over on our YouTube if you want to check it out. I believe it's Hunt for the Firebird in English.
Yep.
There's also a wonderful map in there inspired by the Ukraine area. And you can purchase it for the very reasonable donation of £1. But there is no maximum donation, so you can exponentially increase its value by donating more money. So it's worth what you think it's worth.
I think it's worth a lot.
And I just thought of a very, very sad joke to make about my self-esteem. But I won't, because positivity.
Is it basically that you're worth the same thing as you think you're worth?
So some days I'm worth absolutely nothing.
Note that joke down. Save it for your next live show.
Yeah. Cool. Glorious. I must also remind our abiding, everlasting, and possibly even perpetual audience to please like, follow, and subscribe to all the things, you bloody champions. We have all the exclamation mark socials. We have the YouTube, and we have a Discord on which you can come and talk with us and hang out and get all the behind-scenes goss and look at the memes channel, which is, yeah, it's always good. Your
and
spouse would be
pictures.
worth something. And there are pet pictures, so many It's like everybody has a cat or a rabbit or a dog, and probably more than one. We've got a few. The rabbits are currently sitting right next to me over there in the kitchen having some hay. They're in the kitchen because they're fighting, and we're trying to make them not. So we're putting them in the same space, but also like supervised. So if I ever disappear for no apparent reason, it's because I'm breaking up a shit fight.
Yeah. Their bite wounds are healing, though. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, what else? We need to talk about a recap, guys. What the heck happened last time?
Oh, God, that's a massive question.
This bit.
All right. So.
I believe it ended with us breaking into this guy's house and finding a creepy church.
This is true. And in the last episode, we actually spent the entire session inside that church. We got in there. Tavernish met the image of his departed wife, who revealed herself to not actually be his wife, but a semi-angelic entity, or at least angel-adjacent entity known as, let's see, I've got it written
Kren.
down, Menzoloth.
I do apologize. It was
Astoreal,
Menzoloth.
who, after failing to convince us of their grand plan and its veracity, attempted our murder after deeply insulting at least half of us. Upon completely killing Menzoloth, we met their... what's it called when it's a god?
Amaranthine.
Astoreal? Amaranthine.
We met
sorry.
their Amaranthine, Kren, the god of deceit and trickery, who is apparently trying to start a war, for all intents and purposes, to cleanse the corruption from the Elder Heart in order to prep us in time for the next war, which is probably going to be with the elemental plane of air. I think that's what happened.
All good news. All good news.
I would say nothing you said there was incorrect. Kren's reason for doing it, however, is not so much about prepping you for the war with the plane of air, but he did warn you that that's probably happening. It's Menzoloth's reason for doing it, but Kren was very much about trying to raise up the humble folk who he feels have been oppressed by the bird folk. And not just the bird folk, but also the bird folk deities for a good old while now. And he's just not okay with his peeps being second-class citizens. And in
fairness, Menzoloth, Kren rather, was also very much about Menzoloth being kind of a dick.
Oh, yeah. Menzoloth betrayed Kren. Menzoloth was an Astoreal of Kren, and then swapped sides and became an Astoreal of Titan. So Kren convinced Menzoloth that he was Titan and sent him on a mission to do stuff in the name of Titan. And Titan's like, I'm not approving of this at all. And Menzoloth's like, oh, but you told me to. He's like, no, that wasn't me. And he's like, oh, shit, have I been working for Kren this whole time? And Kren goes, yeah, you have, and no, I don't like you. So Menzoloth is dead. You actually killed an Astoreal forever.
We killed an Astoreal.
Yeah, you
Which
did.
is really difficult because they're technically immortal as long as their god likes them.
Yeah, as long as Daddy's got your back, it's all good. Yeah. Fun.
But Kren was all like to Kesh, like, you don't have to, you just can let this happen. It's in your best interest to just let this happen. Stop trying to change the future. Just let it flow and everything will come good in the end, which like goes against every instinct Kesh has, but she also doesn't want to fuck it up by interfering. So she's very mad.
And this is the point. So Kren basically laid it out and said, you guys don't have to do shit at this point. You've already done it. My will be done. That's why I'm happy to reveal to you my evil plan, because it's not that evil. And also, like, you can totally see my point. What you can do now at this point is either stop it completely, at which point, like, I leave the final choice to you. You can either stop it. You have the power to stop it. It'll probably be a bit rubbish, but you could stop it. Or you can make sure it succeeds by just not being involved. That would it'll probably succeed even if you are no longer involved. But if you do involve yourself on the side of the humble folk, you could make it succeed possibly even better, maybe save a few lives on both sides by ending it quickly. Those are sort of the three options Kren put to you. And
up until the very end, I was pretty vocally against Kren until I started liking him.
Yeah.
Because he did me a major solid.
And then he did you a solid, which is sort of going to be a good portion of the point of this episode. So let's talk about the solid. As he was turning to leave, Tavernish said, is it possible to talk to the other side, or words to that effect? Yep. And Kren turned around and gave him a black pearl.
That is big.
Which is a speaking stone. And as soon as he took hold of it, Tavernish learned how it works, and we'll get into that in a second. So, mateys, may your spouses not mysteriously reappear bearing something of a grudge, and no deities place you in difficult moral situations as we head, tremulously at first, and then with mounting heat and passion, I almost said anxiety and dread, heat and passion, into the Humblewood.
So this is why Dream Daddy was such a nice little vacay. Like, low levels of complicated decision making.
I don't know. You needed to decide between, the Chad who was trying to get over Smashley or the amazing dude who owns a coffee shop. That is very difficult decision making.
As far as I'm concerned, the best ending is actually Damien.
Damien?
Yeah.
Oh, the guy who was really into Victorian fashion.
Yeah. Turns out he works in an animal shelter, isn't actually, works in IT, and runs an animal shelter, or volunteers at an animal shelter.
So he's also skilled, kind, and just has hobbies?
I know, right? Damien's like the complete package.
And the resolution to that story also not only made Damien much nicer, but it also fixed Hugo's relationship with his son. The teacher with the dropkick son. Yeah, a dog gets free, you hunt it down with Damien. The dog is in Hugo's house. Spoilers, everybody. The dog is in Hugo's house. Ernest, Hugo's son, is like, Dad, can we keep it? It was the first time Hugo had ever called Dad. And he's like, okay, I guess. And it's making Hugo's son a not shit human being. It's making Hugo's relationship with his son way better. It's also a really cute relationship. Lucian's even nice to you at the end. It's just good all round. It's a
solid ending.
I think it's the best ending of the bunch, and I've played all of them now. Though actually, Robert's ending is kind of nice too. His daughter.
Robert being the lone wolf guy.
Yeah, he has a daughter. She's an adult. She's a business power lady.
Wow.
And it's that one's an interesting one. I'm not going to spoil too much about it. The Joseph ending is sad. So we return to the Alderheart and a basement in the canopy where a secret chapel to the Amaranthine Titan, who, full disclosure, was not really down with the kind of faith being practiced within it. Mm-hmm. The gang has just had a rather heated discussion with an Astoreal named Menzoloth, who believed she was serving Titan's will, and then a much more chill but still quite fraught conversation with the real mastermind, Kren, the Amaranthine of trickery and deceit. Kren just gave Kesh the passing line, "Menzoloth wasn't lying. Armies amassing, and not just on the plane of air. The choice is yours." Before turning back into a statue of Titan. So, what do you do other than flip him the bird?
Question. Is Menzoloth's corpse still here?
Menzoloth's corpse is a puddle on the ground, but yes.
Right, I'm just thinking maybe we should
Spit in it.
Spillage. We're trying not to leave a paper trail or
it's
a body
already
trail.
sort of fading. I wouldn't worry too much.
All right,
I believe Bennick took a sample, but it's sort of not evaporating more. What's when solids evaporate?
Oh, sublimation.
Sublimating.
Oh.
Yeah. Good idea. Good name. Good word. Yeah, it's like sublimating away.
That was well remembered, Karen, because
quick.
there's only one material in the universe that does that.
I love physics, guys.
Yeah. It's sort of, it's steaming in the way ice steams.
Dry ice.
Yeah.
Dry ice, the only material in the universe that sublimates.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So yeah, there's this little black puddle, roughly the shape of a person, sort of, it's about already half gone.
Right.
Your conversation with Kren lasted no more than 30 minutes, so yeah, it'll be gone before anybody who really has any power to do anything about it shows up. You mean, like...
They're not gonna know. It could be anything.
Well, you had a fight with a giant spider and a couple of large creatures were around in this fight. The chairs and tables in the room are, like, scattered. Several of the pews are just overturned and, yeah, it's not...
Can we straighten this place up a bit? Or is it kind of like...
like, shattered. Like, you could try, but...
Look,
Yeah.
Okay.
from Kesh's perspective, we need to clean up and we need to get out of here. So, if we can try and set things...
I mean, mending is a thing. You could certainly try.
Yeah, does anyone have mending?
Bennick almost certainly has mending. I wouldn't be surprised if Eric has it too. I know someone does because it's been used.
Well,
Right. In character. All right. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's do that later. For now, let's try and make this place look like we didn't just find a spider in it. And go before we get caught.
yep. I'm going to start straightening pews if other people can repair the pews.
Yeah. Yeah. I say people do that, you leave. I'm not going to make any rolls for it. I'm pretty confident. I know at least one person has it. I'm pretty sure Bennick has it. So yeah, it can be done.
Can we make a presumption, and I don't want to be, Jaegering the other players who aren't present, but can we presume that Eric will give us a pass without trace as we leave, because we still have to head back through Sobek's, that guy's, Sobel's place.
Well,
as we
actually,
have.
Kesh, and now I'm going to reveal the dice roller. Kesh, can you please make me but given that the pair of you that you are helping, but you would also be like, if you're thinking about leaving, you can both make me, what's the word I'm looking for? Investigation or survival rolls. Whichever is better. 21. Survival. Very nice, Kesh.
16 plus 5. 21.
21.
Hey, jinx.
Yeah. So, I would say Tavernish probably is the one who points out that there is more than one exit from this place. It is... You crossed a small bridge to get into this temple. You came down into a basement. There was a door at the end of the basement that led out onto a small bridge over a sewer.
Which has piping and stuff that we can...
There is human-sized or like sort of person-sized pipeways that you could travel through. And it is presumably how the other people, like Tavernish, as someone who has staked out this house, you've noticed people come who did not leave. You've noticed one dude arrive twice without having left in between. Yeah. This is potentially how they were getting out. And Kesh would scout, your 21 would find a way down that doesn't actually require any, like, it would get you out a manhole cover or something similar, probably 50 meters away from the front gate, far enough away that no one would observe you leaving through it.
Works for me.
Yay, we get to climb out a sewer.
Yay!
Love
So
it.
you are able to, well, it's that, or yes, you can go back through the building, but
We're less likely to get caught in the sewer.
And you thought you were covered in vermin last night. You just wait.
Thanks
Oh,
for
yeah, I forgot about
reminding me,
that.
Tavernish. That definitely wasn't playing on my mind at all.
You are extremely welcome anytime.
Bennick, I imagine, also has prestidigitation and sort of cleans everybody off as they get out. I've had a look. Yeah, I've seen the Dream Daddy secret ending, Laurite. Thank you.
Honestly, if we're going to do one more Dream Daddy session, we're going to play the secret ending.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. So you get out, you head back to your super secret hideout. Doing so is not particularly challenging. It is about midnight at this point. The city is unsettled. So there's probably a little less foot traffic than normal. Like, people are staying home. A lot of humble folk have started trickling out of the town, as in because you guys told them to. Eric wrote in the sky. So yeah, a group of 5 people moving stealthily and quietly down the roads is sort of less suspicious than normal, because you're not the only group doing it. You are the only group with a bird folk in it doing it, let alone 2. But yeah, with Pass Without Trace, it wouldn't be difficult to get back and into your super secret hideout without being detected, so I'm just going to say you do.
Cool.
You made such a big song and dance of leaving that all of the guards, you do not see a single foot patrol within the city in the entire way back to the nearest entrance, which would probably be the Canopy Markets.
Oh, okay. So the entire Wildwood Brigade has basically performed a mass exodus.
Yes, it did. And the Perch Guard, a good portion of it has been deployed. You are aware of this. So outside of the city, which does not happen often, and Kesh, you know why, because they were set up to take out a good portion of the Wildwood Brigade in an ambush. So that which remains is focused on fortifying the city as much as one can fortify a giant tree. Basically they are guarding the entrances to the tree and the important people's houses, or the important buildings anyway. Sobel's house is private security. You get back to your super secret hideout. It's late evening. What do you do?
Force everyone to eat and go to bed.
Alright, so I obey this instruction with good grace and relative silence. In fact, extreme silence. I appear to be completely internalizing right now. And I lie in bed in the middle of the chapel, and I take out the stone, and I contemplate it, because holy heck, what the hell? And so I'm just sort of looking into it and trying to figure out what's happening next.
So Tavernish,
per chance what it does.
This would constitute a tuning to said stone. It's a one-use item, but you do need to attune to it. The ritual to utilize it is fairly straightforward and relies more on the personal connection of the being performing it than anything formal. The only real caveat is that it requires a witness and it has a cost. You also know that if both the witness and the person actually utilizing it are touching the stone when it is squeezed, the witness goes with you, but the witness doesn't have to. And in that instance, that person could almost use it as a separate, make a separate use of it.
Right. So essentially what I'm getting from this is that in order to get this thing to work, I need a second person who is basically going to be piggybacking off of my seance, and they are either going to be witnessing what I'm doing or doing their own thing with a completely different departed spirit.
They would, one of you would know that one of you will be the primary seeker and the other would be sort of piggybacking. But you can take your witness with you, but you do need one.
I take a deep sigh. I get out of bed. It's been about an hour since we all turned in.
Yeah.
And I just sort of traipse into the main room where all of the others are. I sort of just walk past and sort of brush aside a couple of the bugs on Kesh. And I tap her on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I cast Calm Emotions out of just general courtesy. Because she is covered in insects again.
Yeah.
Oh, look at all the bugs.
I know.
So many different bugs.
Magic is such a wonderful thing. I was hoping to ask you for a favor.
Oh. Okay, is it morning?
It's not morning. It's only been about an hour since we went to bed.
Okay.
It's remember I spoke to the Amaranthine before he left?
Yes.
He gave me a magical item of extraordinary emotional import to me, but I can't operate it alone. I know you have a rather busy few days ahead of you, but I was hoping you could spare one to give me a hand.
Right now?
In the morning.
Then why did you wait?
Because this is something that's been weighing on my heart for 10 years, and if I didn't say it to someone, I would explode.
Then you should do it now.
Are you okay with that?
All right, bug friends. You have to hog it up.
And they do. A small wave of bug friends sort of skitters off you. The last, a decent-sized cockroach on your shoulder offers you a hunk of cheese.
Oh. Does it look okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
It's very good cheese.
It's a solid cheddar. And you both have inspiration, by the way. We hit 600 followers, you have inspiration. We did it a while ago, actually, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were up to like 689.
29, yeah.
If only.
Soon,
Cool.
soon.
So I will extract myself from the bugs and basically quietly follow Tavernish wherever he wants to go. How long does calm emotions last?
10 minutes?
10
Yeah, I
minutes,
think so.
cool.
That's
You
probably
got 10
enough.
minutes of calm, Kesh.
And before we leave, we should. This is going to take probably about 14 hours to a day. We should probably leave a note for the others.
Okay.
They are asleep.
It's a 3-hour trip. So 6 there and back. I don't know how long the seance you think will take, but you know it'll only give you an hour in the world.
All right.
So she could be back by lunchtime, like.
Still worth leaving a note.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll write a note basically saying, Tavernish had an urgent personal thing to deal with. I've gone to assist. Nobody panic. Everything is fine. We'll be back by dinner tomorrow night. And if I'm not back by dinner tomorrow night, then you have my permission to start panicking.
And I hastily scroll on the back. Don't worry, I didn't kill her. She's much tougher than me.
It's true.
This is true. Yeah. Magically, no, but in combat, maybe. Alrighty.
Right. So here's the thing. There's a small town about 3 hours walk from the base of the Elder Heart. It's where I live, and we need to go there.
All right. So it's physical journey first, and then.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm a bit busy.
Part of Kesh is like, why did I agree to do this in the middle of the night? And also like, well, at least
You do have to leave the city, so doing it in the middle of the night is probably the best time
probably
to do
the
it.
best idea. Yeah. Get it out of the way.
Consider yourselves of having a short rest. So if you do have anything that refreshes on a short rest, yeah, you've had an hour.
Not really. I get a couple hit points back, but I was already on full because I was transformed during the fight.
Don't you get your bardic inspirations?
This is true. I regained 1, which was what I used.
Cool. Yeah. I'd say by the time you actually sort of get your shit together and get going, it's probably about 2 a.m., which is almost ideal time to be descending the tree down your secret tunnel and through the mountain. And I've now seen that reference. So
I still haven't. I have no idea what it's about.
it's Avatar. Last Airbender.
Oh, with the moles.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's literally the only Avatar I've ever seen. You make your way to the little village of Tallowdale. Tallowdale is a small farming village just beyond the shade of the Alderheart, but very much within sight of it. It's southeast. So for Literature Lad has just followed, you bloody champion. Avast, matey, you wee scallywag. Thanks very much for the follow, Literature Lad. Good name as well.
What is your favourite type of literature that you ladishly enjoy?
Is it lit by any chance?
I imagine it more of a superhero name. It's like, Literature Lad, away! The boy wonder.
Distributing
Literature
banned
Lad.
books to deprived communities.
Yeah.
Oh,
Taking
this
all
is
the
one of
Dr.
those.
Seuss to the southeast.
This is one of those kid superheroes who did visits to primary schools to promote reading.
I like it.
I liked those guys.
Yeah. I almost had a job as one of them. All right. The Tallowdale is, about southeast. I love this. Good. I'm glad. Thanks for joining us. You are heading southeast. It's in the same rough direction as Saltar's Point. In fact, it's pretty much on a direct line between Alderheart and Saltar's Point, which is the sort of the main coastal city of the Humblewood.
That makes my commute a lot easier.
That would be why you lived there. However, it's a farming village, specifically to grow food, pretty much exclusively for Alderheart. Its fields grow crops that, for the most part, just head straight into the market of Alderheart, and many of the residents feel as though they are essentially citizens of the tree, just with better plumbing. A collection of stone and brick thatched buildings, Tallowdale boasts a communal watermill, a large granary, a schoolhouse, and a small temple.
Is there a farmer's market?
There will be about a little after the time you get there. It's all well made and in good condition. The 200-odd inhabitants are pretty well off for rural folk, living well on the business their produce gets from the capital, and though many are humble folk, there is little evidence as you wander around the early morning bustle of the upset that is currently going on in Alderheart. You are aware, Kesh, particularly that that there is... what's the best way to put it? There is unsettlement, unease, particularly among the humble folk. But it doesn't appear to have gotten out here. Guinea! Stop it! Stop chewing the thing.
You, the rabbit, trying to destroy the house?
She's eating the kitchen cabinets.
Of course she is.
Yes. Apologies,
just took in a nibble.
Lad. The Dungeon Master's rabbits are currently eating his house.
Well, there's nothing new about
They are literally
this.
eating us out of house and home.
Literally, yeah. They've had nibbles on the plaster.
This is not the first house they have done that to, by the way.
This is house number 3.
And they have chewed on all of them.
The farmer's market is just sort of getting set up and started. There goes the baker with his...
Yep.
Yeah.
Red like always.
Oh, Disney.
All right, no, stop it. Come here.
I'm going to imagine that was in response to Disney.
This is what
Quite
happens.
possibly. Oh no, punishment cuddle.
Yeah,
Oh,
punishment
what
snuggles.
other work has Josh done? He's done a lot of work, literature lad.
Literature lad. Are you a friend of Cato Sullivan's? I am around in the D&D space. I have a shoulder bunny. I'm part of the podcast There Be Dragons. I am part of the fringe show Paparotica with my lovely wife, the mother of bunnies. In both cases, actually. A few bits and pieces here and there, you know.
Yeah.
I get around. I get around.
Ad.
I was in a lotto ad,
He
yeah.
was in a lotto ad.
Couple of them.
He's also acted in theatre in most of the continents. Well, at least 3 of them.
What other work have we done? Yeah, anyway. Hopefully that clears that up. What do you do? Dude, Paparotica. There you go. Excellent.
It's always Paparotica.
Yay.
Karen,
Yes.
notice that there.
Yeah.
Potterotica. Keep that idea.
Oh, Potterotica.
I'm
Might be
pretty
something
sure
different.
there is already an abundance of fan fiction serving that
yeah.
particular niche market.
Exactly.
Gina.
Anyway, let us
So what do you do?
back to
The game.
Well, firstly, we have a 3-hour trek.
Yeah. You guys did actually have like an afternoon naplet before you went out. You had a long rest like before you went to Sobel's house. So you're probably not fresh exactly, but not like, oh god, I haven't
Not
slept.
super exhausted, yeah.
Yeah. Not in danger of exhaustion yet.
Kesh, if I can ask,
Yes.
and I know it was only about 3 hours ago, but that was a hell of a bombshell that got dropped. And by a hell of a series of creatures. Are you doing okay?
No. I'm just going to ignore it for now and come back to it in a few hours and see how I feel at that point.
Can I offer a word of advice from someone who has no right giving you advice.
All right.
Don't try to fix everything. You will drive yourself insane because you are working against a corrupt government and a god. You are mortal. You should not expect yourself to save the world. You can just save what you can.
Right.
That's just my advice.
On advice notes, are you going to advise me as to what exactly I'm supposed to be doing for you?
Right.
Because I kind of just said yes because I wanted a distraction and it seemed important to you, but now I kind of actually would like to know the details.
Right. So here's the thing. And I suddenly look extremely self-conscious and sort of upset. So you saw my wife, her manifestation with that thing we killed. She left me 10 years ago after our son died of a wasting illness. And I was away at sea when it happened. I used to be a sailor.
I'm so sorry.
And the thing is, well, what the god gave me as he was leaving was a way of talking to my son.
Oh.
And I need your help with that. I'm going to be honest, I need this.
Right.
So that is why I woke you up in the middle of the night.
What will I have to do?
Bear witness.
Okay. I can probably manage that.
When I was given this item, you know how magic works. Sometimes the instructions just imprint themselves upon your mind. I was told a couple things. There is the ritual requires 2 people. Both of them need to be holding the stone. Both of them need to be thinking on it. And when it happens, you will essentially accompany me into the plane of the dead, where I am not entirely sure, but where you will be able to choose whether or not you observe my conversation with my son or whether you spend that time talking to someone else.
Would you rather I didn't watch?
I don't care who's watching. I just want to talk to him.
Okay. I'll see.
So that's why we are trekking across the country in the middle of the night.
Okay, makes sense. I assume we're traveling because it has to be done in a specific location?
We are going to my home. We are going to my son's grave. There are elements of the ritual that require familiarity with the location. So my home is the easiest place because it's familiar not only to me but to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, or is that cleared it up for you?
Think that about covers it?
Okay. And if there is no further conversation, I am not in the mood to speak right now.
Okay. Sure. I'll just muse on that.
Brood. Cool. You get there. There is a little market Like half a dozen stalls. Most of it's just produce. There's a single person that does sort of handicrafts and things. Where are you going? Where are you going, Kim?
I
You have to
stop off
stay.
for a 6-packet of eggs and a thing of cheese, just a small like hotel serving of cheese,
Yeah.
and some fresh vegetables, a couple herbs, one of those little cardboard sachets of milk, few chocolates, a strawberry or two, and salt and pepper. Oh, and bacon, also bacon.
Be streaky back bug bacon, but yes.
Streaky back bug bacon, and one random item as I'm passing, because you have to get something from the till as you leave. One of those ridiculously expensive items. So gum. I also get gum.
Yeah.
And,
It's rock candy. Yeah.
Would you care for a humbug?
Sure.
It's lemon flavored.
And then we, crest the hill through this delightful little town that I was once so proud to live in. And we come to a little. The road is sort of, there's a bridge that goes over a stream that's cutting between a couple farms. As you can see in the distance, it's being used for irrigation purposes. But the stream actually bends around a small property with a very large, very old-looking oak tree on it. And underneath that oak tree, I actually kind of stop in the road, because underneath that oak tree there is just a tiny little outcrop of stone that looks to be carved in the shape of a grave. And behind that stone is, to the Humblewood equivalent, a perfect little white picket fence house. Just a serene little cottage in the countryside. That there are no candles lit. The roof is covered in bird shit. The grass is overgrown. It's dire, but it was beautiful. This is us.
All right.
And Kesh, yeah, you can see that this place was a really cute little dwelling. Like, if you imagine ideal country living, raising a family, retiring and raising a family, you do it to a place like this.
Do it to a place like this, huh?
As in, you go to a place like this to do it.
Yeah.
You inflict your family upon the countryside.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Would it be safe to assume that this was once Tavernish's home?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. I will make no comment on the fact and just
There
let
is-
him
There
read.
is
There's a letterbox
with
by the
forks.
door that says forks on the side.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's in the shape of a boat.
And as you pass the gravestone, you actually see Willow Temperance Forks is written on it. And from the dates of birth and death, you can tell that he died at the age of 12.
Are there any like wildflowers growing around?
Yes.
I mean,
would be loads.
Also weeds and a pumpkin, strangely enough.
I'm just gonna slow down enough to pick some flowers so I can leave a little posy on the grave.
Yeah.
And I watch you do that, and I sort of half smile, feel something hitch in my throat, stop smiling, turn around, go inside, start cooking breakfast.
Kesh, do you follow inside?
Yeah.
Can you both make me investigation checks, please? Tavernish,
Absolutely.
I don't know, but do you think you might be at disadvantage?
Oh, absolutely.
Very well.
I only got a 13.
Disadvantage check, investigation check, Tavernish.
Okay. Well, the highest was a 3.
Ooh, wow. Okay, Kesh, you're the one who notices. The place is dusty. It looks like no one's been here for, as Tavernish said, 10 years. That's probably accurate, which is why it's a little odd that there are footprints in the dust.
Tavernish?
Yeah? I'm underneath the wood-burning stove, and I'm sort of pulling out a frying pan and trying to scrape off the dust so I can use it.
Someone's been here recently-ish. There's steps in the dust.
The door was locked. Tavernish opened it with a key. But the footsteps clearly came through the front door.
Check the upper floor.
I will draw my sword and go upstairs to
The
suss it out.
the house is empty. Though you would guess the master bedroom, Kesh, drawers are open. Someone came and packed a bag.
And I'll come back downstairs and be like, it looks like someone came and packed up some things from the master bedroom.
Oh. Well, that's fair enough. It's her home. Moving on. And I very clearly trying to distract myself. I start a fire and start frying up some bacon and eggs and cheesy bits and mushrooms and stuff. Do you like them sunny side up?
That would be great.
Okay. So I cook breakfast.
You know that feeling you have where kind of someone's going through something emotionally and you just kind of feel like this awkward presence while they do that? That's what Kesh does right now.
Kesh doesn't know Tavernish super well, but at this point she feels like she's also the person who maybe knows him best in the world.
And as I'm cooking, I just sort of, can you I know it's probably weird. Can you stay in the room?
Oh,
I do not want to be alone.
sure.
Thank you.
And I'll pick the least dusty chair to settle myself in.
Sunlight streams through a broad window facing south. The dust that has risen from your activities causes sunbeams to it highlights the sun very beautifully. There is a little vase on the table with the flowers in which have long since wilted and dried to almost nothing, to the point where it's actually almost quite a nice dried flower display, Kesh. And it dried so well that, because just no one interacted with them for so long, that the posy is still fairly intact. Most of the Grim Leo is raiding us. Thank you very much for the raid, Grim Leo. You bloody champions. Avast,
Nice
mateys.
to meet you all.
You wee scallywags. Let's have a shout out for Grim Leo.
Yeah.
Grim.
And hello, Neoted, who I believe was the first one to comment upon your arrival.
Thank you very much for joining, Nitoan. Good to see you, buddy. What were you guys doing? You were playing Factorio. I don't know what that's. Is that good? Rhythm, do you know Factorio?
It's a game about surviving on an alien planet, and you have to sort of Minecraft yourself up a very complex ammo and survival resources crafting station while being essentially attacked constantly by aliens from the Alien franchise.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, spreading the love. Natoan, thank you very much, you bloody champion. Good on you guys.
Gratefully received.
Yeah, I will take the love. It's essentially Minecraft.
Hey guys, I was simplifying. I've also never played Factorio.
Alrighty, well, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, you excellent individuals. We are playing Humblewood D&D. Humblewood is a homebrew setting, a 5e setting for Humblewood, for D&D by the Hit Point Press. I am just a particularly large proponent of it. And this is the beginning of the 9th season in this world. and the fourth of this crew, of this set of characters. Kesh Glitterweave and her friends. Tavernish is a recurring occasional character. I think this is the 6th episode Tavernish has featured in, across a lot of different storylines. He just sort of crops up every now and again. So we're having a bit of a deep and meaningful...
I am the Humblewood equivalent of Janice from Friends.
Yeah, all right, I'll give you that. And yeah, so Tavernish and Kesh are heading out to Tavernish's old house to perform a seance, interestingly enough. So you've caught us at an interesting time. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you enjoy. Smash the follow button if you fancy it. We do stream TTRPGs and D&D 2 or 3 nights a week. And we'd love to have you join us. Thanks very much for coming along. And yeah, you bloody champions, we'll get back into it. So yeah, Kesh, sitting at the dining table, looking around, you notice the place was actually fairly full of flowers. They're all dead now. But, like, way more flowers than you would normally have. Like, bouquets everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of flowers.
Yeah.
Could I... I feel like people brought them flowers after their son died, and
Yeah.
they just
The
never
wake.
got...
Yeah. That's a fair guess.
Oh, it's so sad. Yeah, she's just gonna sit there awkwardly.
Yep.
And
Tavernish.
after about 10, 15 minutes, I turn around holding a pair of... They're not beautiful, but they are interestingly made. Dinner plates that have been made from sort of clay, pressed around smooth river stones, and then massaged and baked into place. So it's a sort of a... It's plates made from crushed rock. But it's a uniquely artisanal, shall we say, dining service with bacon and eggs and all of that. And set it down in front of you with a large glass of juice and slump across from you.
Thank you. It's amazing.
So, when he was alive, I used to read him stories. I'd come home from trips abroad, and I would have written total bullshit stories about the dragons I used to fight, or the adventures I went on, or what a hero his father was. And is it strange to say that my favorite moments of my life were when I was lying to my son? Because you have never seen a child more enthused than my little Will. And when the disease hit, and we didn't have the money for medicine, I had to go out to work to get more money. And I promised that when I came home, I would have more stories to tell. And instead, I came home to an empty house. Because he was gone. And I do not know what was in her head, but so was she. And since I failed to be there for our son, I honestly cannot blame her. But I decided that I would find myself some more stories and write a little book of them. And, well, I've been at it for a while. I made some of those stories with you. And I finally have a way of reading him those stories. And it's been the thing that kept me going, was the promise that I could be someone worth looking up to, and maybe one day share that with him. And now it's happening, and I can't even think. There's a space somewhere between emptiness and blind panic, and that is where I am. And I down half a glass of juice and go very quiet.
Tavernish, I think what you need to remember is that he's going to be happy to see you.
I hope so. I hope he doesn't feel like we left him. I hope he doesn't feel abandoned up there.
Oh, if he's half as clever as you, I'm sure he's worked out that's not the case.
Okay.
And even if he is mad at you, at least you have a chance to try and make it right.
You are a kind person, Kesh. And I take a deep breath. What I want out of this is peace. And I assume, Josh, that fulfills my ritual requirement for honesty.
Yep.
Okay. And I say, now I don't know what you want out of this, Kesh. I know you've had a couple of hours to think on it. You might need more, and I can give you more, but in order for this to work, we both need to be honest with one another. I told you all of that because that is what I am hoping to get out of this. But you're about to have a chance to speak to the dead, and it isn't necessarily going to be my son. Do you have something you're aiming to get out of this? In the realization it will only work if you tell me honestly.
I want to know what my actual choices are.
Is there anyone on the other side who you would trust to give you a second opinion on that?
God, that's not Kren.
Well, that's always a start, isn't it?
Or someone that would wish me well.
I'd like to take the stone out of my pocket and try and dig into the attunement and see whether talking to a different Amaranthine would actually be possible.
Basically, if you're not certain of who you're looking for, you can just set what she just said it would do. And it will basically just send her to somebody who would meet the specifications she just put out. A god that isn't Kren, who maybe wishes her well.
Right, so essentially one of the benevolent members of the Pantheon.
Yeah.
Or a close friend.
Yeah.
That sounds entirely reasonable.
Hopefully it's not too much to ask.
What, for a single reliable voice in your ear for 1 bloody hour?
I know, it feels like it's such a simple request.
It's amazing how difficult honesty can be, isn't it?
Oh, everyone has an agenda, especially a god that's known for being a trickster.
I tell you what, I don't think either of us was cut out for this spycraft box.
Well, I didn't want to be a spy. I wanted to be a brave adventurer, saving
A
people,
guard, a hero,
doing
a
the right
captain.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be the right hand of someone who is actually, making the difficult decisions.
Yeah. It's weird how life turns out.
Yeah. I was hoping to support more than do.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get back there.
Turns out, half the time you've been in charge of the whole show.
Oh, don't say that. Then I'll have to start thinking about whether I was doing the right thing the whole time.
Ah, Kesh. Just by being there, you were doing the right thing.
Oh, thanks, Tavernish. That does make me feel a bit better.
Think about it. If you weren't there, there wouldn't have been anybody there. And so the wrong thing would have happened for sure. So just by being there, you made the right thing more likely.
That is strangely comforting.
Just my thoughts.
Oh, what do we do now?
I presume you go hold hands over my son's grave. God, what a lovely morning.
At least the breakfast was really good.
I am flattered.
So you head outside,
Yeah.
leaving the dishes undone, you monsters.
Absolutely.
And grabbing my little book of stories, obviously, on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You head outside.
Yeah.
You hold hands over the grave.
And I hold out the pearl.
You place yourself. You know that you need a little bit of familiarity with the place. So Kesh has a quick sort of wander around, sort of familiarizing herself with the general layout of the garden. I just got kisses.
Oh.
Guinea kisses.
Guinea kisses, the rarest of all kisses. They will quickly evolve into bites when she wants to be put down. That
do you need a sense of emotional familiarity in any way?
What?
Or
Not really.
Just like a little bit. Because I was going to be like if you need to be properly familiar, you can just, pocket a couple of bits of furniture or like a book or two. Just steal some stuff. That'll make it feel familiar.
Should I be worried that that's where your mind went?
I'm a career thief and you used to be a bandit.
Okay, fair. Fine.
So, you seat yourselves opposite each other, across from each other, around this gravestone. And Tavernish, you hold out the
pearl.
The pearl. The pearl. The guinea. So mad.
Maybe she shouldn't have been chewing on the kitchen cabinets.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get choices if you make bad ones. And you clasp the stone firmly, squeezing it, and thinking of the place you seek to go.
Right.
The place that you find yourselves is the garden from before. Though the edges are a lot nicer. The whole place is a lot better. Like it's tidier. It looks like somebody lives there now.
And is the gravestone no longer there?
The gravestone is no longer there. In fact, the gravestone isn't there at all because within the center of the garden you find a small bedroom clearly that of a child. It's sort of blurry around the edges. You are in the garden, but you are also in the bedroom.
Would I
Imagine something
recognize
like a
this?
studio, like a live recording of a sitcom / a dream. You know how you can be in two places at once, or the lines between them are just a little blurry. That,
Yeah.
but you're very much lucid.
I'm imagining the sensory equivalent of a soft fade. Like you walk through one and suddenly the walls are all hard, but you also know that if you walk 3 feet in any given direction, you'll be in the garden again.
Yeah, exactly that. The small bedroom is clearly that of a child. Carved wooden toys litter the floor, including several soldiers riding giant beetle steeds. A clothes chest with neatly piled clothes is in one corner, and in another, next to an open window, is a single bed with a knitted quilt. Within it is a young Vulpin boy.
Is this the upstairs bedroom?
Um,
Like the one I
It's-
recognized that he used to have?
it's his bedroom.
Yeah. Okay.
And Willow says, "Hey, Pa." What does Willow look like, Tavernish?
Okay. If you've ever seen the movie Fantastic Mr. Fox,
Uh-huh.
he looks like the really awkward son character from that film, but about 3 years younger and significantly happier. He's by no means, you know, he's not a big child. He's not well built.
Yeah.
He's never going to be an athlete, but he looks happy and energized, and like there's a spark in his eye, like he's excited by the life he lives.
There is also, he doesn't look sickly. This is Tavernish as you remember him before he got ill.
And he says, "Hey, Pa," and it hits me like a fist in the stomach. Insofar as I actually sort of cave in on myself. And I make a small choking noise. And then I run forward and I hug him. Because I cannot speak.
And he hugs you back. And there's a strength in his arms that you didn't feel in life.
And on my third attempt at speech, I say, "You got strong."
They feed me nice up here.
I'm glad.
Gran does real good cooking.
Grant's here.
Yeah.
That saintly woman. Tell her thank you from me. The next time you see her, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to on this visit.
I know. I've been watching you.
Only for the good parts, I hope.
There's been some scary bits too, hey.
He might. No. They weren't scary for me at all. You know why?
Why?
The very worst thing that it could have done to me was sent me over to you. How can anything be scary when the worst thing it can do is send me to my boy?
I'd like that. But not yet, Dad.
Yeah, me neither.
You need to find Mum first.
Oh, that's a big ask. Do you think she wants to see me?
I don't know.
Question.
But I don't think she's mad at you. She keeps talking about you. She told the man about you.
The man?
The man who sent you the letter.
I compartmentalize that. And I wipe my eyes. We might need to have a talk about that in a few minutes, but first up, I just want to say how proud I am of you. And I promise, when I get back down there, I will find her, and I will tell her that I spoke to you, and that you said you loved her, because I assume you do.
Very much.
Yeah, me too. And then, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be spending every waking moment trying to be a dad you can be proud of.
You've always
'Cause I
been a
know you're
dad I
watching.
could be proud of. I was always proud of you, Pa. I knew the stories weren't real, but now the stories are.
Well, it's going to be interesting seeing how the new ones measure up, isn't it?
I don't think you've told
tell
me
you
all.
what.
I don't think you've had all the last stories. I reckon there's more yet.
I guess we'll see. And I'll tell you what, I'll keep on writing them. And when I get up here for real, we can sit down and we can have a look through it. Yeah? And then you can help me draw the pictures like you used to. Now, would you like to hear a story?
Yeah.
Which one? One of the new ones or one of the old good ones?
You choose.
Don't ever ask me that. You know what? Just because it's going to make me happy, let's go with the old goodie. Let's go with the tale of Tavernish Forks and the Pirate King.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah? All right. Give me a sec. I take out the book and I open it to page 1. And
He scoots himself down in the bed and pulls the blanket up, like, gets himself ready.
And I sit down at the just on the edge of the bed, you know, sort of within hair tussling range.
Yeah.
And in my ritual way, I say, now, did I ever tell you about my adventures in the Dowan Yew? Now, it's a straight, like a little passage of water from one ocean to the next, half a world away. Now, the waters around there, they're all restless, all studded with reefs and rocks that can wreck a ship if you're not careful. And worse than that, they say, it's cursed, haunted by the spirit of an old pirate king who lost his treasure there way back when. Now, most sailors, they don't go near it. They never take the chance. But me, my crew, we had a job. A shipment of summer peaches that were destined to be served at a royal wedding. Now, if they'd been shipped by road, you know what? They'd have rotted before they got there. It was going to be through the strait or nothing. So it was just me and my crew. We were the only ones who had the metal for it. And you know what? The sailing wasn't hard. Your dad's good at what he does. We sailed through those waters like the winds of an amaranthine were behind us. And do you know the wonders you could see there? Waters clear as glass, fish with rainbow scales that soared over rocks as if they had a corvum's wings. But that's not the only thing. Because you see, those waters were cursed. See, it was on our third night there, in the strait. I woke up just as the hull of the boat began to creak. Just as the water started flooding in. There's something out there. Something that was pulling us down into the water. So, Will, what did I do? Do you know?
I don't know.
Do you remember? Well,
he's clearly
did the only
pretending,
thing
but
a
he
man can
obviously
do.
knows.
I did the only thing a man can do. I took my trusty old fish bowl off the dresser, and I took my goldfish temperance, and I put him in an old boot along with a bunch of water. And then I tipped out the goldfish bowl, and I put it on my head, so that when the boat flooded, I'd still have air. You see, your dad's a clever man. And we did sink, of course. And when we hit the bottom, I heard this devilish, rattling laugh. And so I stepped out onto the deck, and what did I see? But the bones of an old Mapatch, waving an old sword and wearing the biggest hat I've ever seen. It was the Pirate King, all right. Bet my life on it. And he was making off with every one of my crew. So, what did your father do? What does any good man do? Well, I tackled him, and I punched him in the nose.
Yeah.
You know what? I think he was a bit surprised. I don't think anyone's done that before. So, in that moment of surprise, I do what I can. I rip the cutlass out of his hands, and I kick him right off the side of the ship. And I'll tell you what, Will. The moment I had that sword in my hand, the ship starts rising back up again. And just before we break the surface, I catch a final glimpse of an angry skeleton shaking his fists in rage. And behind him, there's the biggest pile of gold I've ever seen. Treasure beyond your imaginings. And that, son, is how your dad survived the Pirate King.
Yeah. Nice one, Dad.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I hold out my fist to give him a fist bump.
Excellent. After that, Tavernish continues his storytelling. Josh puts the bunny back in the box.
Where she will probably give us about 5 minutes grace and then start chewing on the cabinets again.
And she will get picked up again.
Yay!
Tori is now cleaning the human stank off her. I definitely agree, Kate O'Sullivan. I reckon you'd be a brilliant Ruth. And yes, I was the Pirate King. I've also directed that show. It's a good show. Kesh.
He is a Pirate King.
I am the Pirate King. Hurrah for the Pirate King.
The glorious thing to
be a Pirate King. It is! Hurrah for the Pirate King!
Hurrah for the Pirate
King. After the first story, Kesh, you take your leave. Prefer Pacini to GNS. You're allowed. You're wrong, but you're allowed.
Well, you really can't compare the two because GNS
really
is
is.
not opera.
It's operetta. Yes. But fair. Pacini's good too. Don't get me wrong.
I went to a wonderful show that was the Beginner's Guide to Opera. And, or was it the Complete Idiot's Guide to Opera?
No,
One of the
Beginner's
two.
Guide, I think.
And,
How very dare you, sir.
And yes, the number of times in that, if you're drunk every time they said, because GNS is not opera, you would have been very drunk by the end of the show.
So, Kesh, you take your leave and begin to wander, exploring the edges of the garden. And you find a starlit glade with a river running through it, and an elaborate covered bridge made of white painted wood. It calls to you, and as you reach the center of the span, you look out at the stream. Reflected within it is a familiar constellation, one known to all Mapatch. The stars twinkle as if aware of you.
Isn't that special? Can I look up at the sky? Is this a reflection, or is this something
It
happening
is
within the
the
water?
a reflection of the sky. Yeah.
Do the stars look normal?
Brighter than you've ever seen them.
Beautiful.
The sky is cloudless, and this time of year, this constellation is not normally center in the sky, but it is right now. As you watch, a face appears in the water next to the reflection of your own. Similar but different. The eyes twinkle like the same constellation above. Hello, Kesh. You turn to face the voice, and standing beside you is a creature similar to a Mapatch, but more animalistic. It lacks clothing and it sits on its hind legs observing you, a thickly furred tail swishing amusedly. And as you watch, it stands up, and a flowing robe of starlight enshrouds it. How are you? I understand my cousin has made a rather large request of you.
You could put it that way. I'm assuming you're, you know, huh?
I am indeed.
Wow, I wasn't sure I'd get an actual god. It's an honor. And I'll kind of like do an awkward like curtsy bow hybrid because I'm not sure what's appropriate.
Oh, please. And she comes over and hugs you.
Oh.
The honor is mine.
It's lovely to meet you. Thank you.
So, you had a question.
Well, I don't trust Kren.
Nor should you.
For all that he was blathering on about how honest he was being and how Menzoloth was being honest, and we were telling the truth, and they were telling the truth, and you know,
I don't believe he lied to you at all.
But that's not the same thing as telling the truth.
No, it's not.
And, well, Kren kind of gave me a very binary choice about what happens now. And, well, apart from not trusting Kren, I don't really trust binary choices.
Well, there are 3 that he gave you, in fairness. Though the third isn't really a choice, it's really just an inaction. You can either involve yourself or not. I suppose that's probably what you were meaning. If you involve yourself, you have 2 choices. You can either side with the humble folk and end the war as positively as you can for the humble folk, or you can stop the war, and that will maintain the status quo to a degree, but that will, as he put it, doom your race to servitude for all eternity. He always had a flair for the dramatic.
Yes.
The other option is do nothing, at which point he's probably right about what will happen. The humble folk will be victorious, though the blood will be great. And it will leave the wood weakened for what comes next.
So he wasn't lying about what comes next.
Oh no. The Humblewood is an interesting place. You're aware of a place known as the Blight Sea, yes?
Yes.
It is an upwelling of death magic. Humblewood is an upwelling of life magic. Both places are out of balance. The material plane should be in balance, all the elements working together, but in the Humblewood particularly, life dominates, to the extreme benefit of all the creatures that live within it, but all the other planes have their eye on it. There is jealousy. Fire and air are the most chaotic, the most troublesome. You have your long-going problem with the plane of air, but it's not the only one that you have to worry about. But there are other armies.
Right. So, more elementals to come.
Possibly. I cannot tell the future. Despite what some would say, Gesme and the like, it's not really possible. The lie he told you is that there isn't just the 3 choices. He made it sound, as you say, like a trinary decision, but it's not. It's a spectrum. You could do anything. You could, most positively, do one of those 3 things, but you could choose a 4th course. Pick your own. Choose a goal and aim for it. You're an archer. Be the archer. Do as you have always done. Set your sights on a goal and achieve it. Decide what you think needs to be done and do it. You have the resources, you have your friends, your allies, you have a fair-sized army. The war will continue without your assistance and probably be won, unless you actively choose to stop it, but there are loads of ways to do that. But as many people in the wood know, a cleansing fire is sometimes a good thing.
Well, I know Trish sometimes wants to set a certain Corvum on fire.
Yes, that's a problem for another conversation.
I know you can't see the future, but can you see Trish? Is she okay?
I get glimpses. She is a long way away, in a place where we Amaranthines have little to no power. The being that created that is almost a match for us. The deal they made with the powers they made it with. If Trish can slay him, it may not end him.
Oh.
But it will bring Barovia back. What it will do is send him somewhere else.
Oh.
Nothing can leave Barovia without Strahd's will.
Not even Strahd.
Not even Strahd.
Hmm.
He built a prison for himself as much as anybody else.
I wonder if he meant to do that or not.
He wanted to keep us out as much as himself in. But I think that was definitely part of it. It was a good move. It's worked for over 300 years. He is stronger now than he ever was before. And there is no Terran Amaranthine.
Huh. She's not going to accidentally make him an Amaranthine, is she?
I can't see the future.
Oh, sorry.
I hope not.
That wouldn't be her intention.
No, it's definitely not her intention. The only other thing I can tell you is that her curse is not what she thinks.
What do you mean?
Just that. It's not what she thinks. I cannot be more specific.
Just if I say that to her, she's going to ask the same question. And am I going to tell her that I had an out-of-body experience where I met you?
Oh, you are not having an out-of-body experience. You're here.
Oh, right. So if someone was standing outside Tavernish's house right now...
They would see no one.
Oh.
We
Fascinating.
straight up plane shifted.
So, this is another world?
You are in the plane of night.
Oh.
My part of it, anyway. Or one of them.
It's lovely. I kind of expected it to be a bit more, dark and scary.
It has those bits as well. The longer you stay, the more of it you'll see.
But I feel like
Death is not what mortals fear it to be. But for the same reason, I can't tell you more about Trish. I cannot tell you exactly why it's not what mortals fear it to be. Some truths have
Tavernish's
to be
son.
learned, not told.
Tavernish's son seems happy here.
I think he is. He's forever watching the material. A good boy. I've done my best to keep him separate. And
Thank
safe.
you.
He didn't deserve what happened to him, nor did Tavernish.
Tavernish is probably going to go his own way, isn't he?
It's probably for the best he does. His goals won't align with yours forever.
I don't think so.
But I don't think you'll find yourselves at cross purposes.
You better hope not.
He's too good a man for that. He tries to hide it. The bravado. But one does not mind meld with a Hiscalia if one is a bad man.
Did I know that he'd done that?
Doubt it.
I've basically only ever told callbacks for Vanya.
Wow.
And now,
let's be
like,
honest,
you're
callbacks
probably
new.
in the process of telling that story to your son. But other than that, yeah.
was one of the stories I was telling. Because now we're on to the actual stories that happened.
I'll have to ask him about that Hiscalia then. Sounds like a good story.
It is where he met someone important. It's what set him on the right path, to be honest.
So if I choose to fight for the humble folk, I don't have to let it become what Kren thinks it will be.
No. He was
'Cause
manipulating you. He was wanting you to do exactly what he thought. Or do nothing. I think that was probably what he intended. Despair is a powerful weapon. Believing yourself to be powerless to change something. But for all his deceit and trickery, his motives were oddly pure. And I don't disagree with them. I don't like how he went about it, but I think he isn't wrong. A freedom given isn't valued. If the humble folk fight for it, no one will ever take it away from them again.
Guess I have to help them fight then, huh?
But one does not have to fight with a sword.
So I'm going to have to keep being my sneakier self for a while.
You're upsettingly good at it.
I know.
Upsetting to you, I'm very proud of it.
Thank you. How long do I have here?
Time moves differently here. But this conversation can last as long as it needs to. Tavernish will have time to tell all his stories.
I wish I'd known that going in.
Wow.
So ask your questions, and I will answer if I can. You have the eye of many of us. Titan watches. Ardea has always been distant, particularly where humble folk are concerned. She doesn't like to admit it, but it's true. I think it's not so much second-class citizens as just not something she's particularly invested in. She's more about the big picture, the place itself. She cares more for the wood than she does for those that live within it. You are just part of the picture. So she cares for you in the same way she cares for a tree. Not more, but not less.
Is Julio truly turning the tree into some sort of higher power?
He has taken the first step. I'd welcome it. Bring a little chaos to the upper planes. A true god as well, not an amaranthine. That would be something totally different. But I have less writing on it than most. You see, the amaranthines derive their strength from worship. Mine has always been a small cult. I know that's a dirty word right now, but...
Oh, as long as you're not trying to start a war.
In my experience, one cannot stop war. War is a perpetual thing. There's always going to be war. If you spend your life trying to prevent war, you are going to have a difficult and disappointing life. You try and stop the wars that matter. A short victorious war is the phrase. I think that's probably what you're looking for. Wars could be won in a day. If you play it right. You've already started down that path as well. You sent out your Jabin commander with that lizard folk to take a good portion of their force out without, hopefully, any bloodshed. It's a solid way to win.
I almost need to manipulate them into surrendering.
You have the council. You have a majority of it. You could form your own in absentia. You have legitimacy on your side in that instance. But if you give them time, they will establish their own. And you will have a true... Fast is better. Fast is always better.
Do I need to leave the Elder Heart again?
Can't see the future.
She considers. She says, again, I cannot see the future. But I would say you could probably achieve everything you need to without doing so. There are ways. if you were to remove Sobel from the picture, it would have to be done in a way that not to make him a martyr. And I would caution you, Larimar, whilst not the ringleader, is the least stable. Remove Sobel's moderating influence, and some shit's gonna go down if Larimar's in charge. She is radical.
Noted.
Take out both, and there's a vacuum. If you do that, be ready to have something else to step in.
Don't leave a power vacuum.
No. If you have them on the defensive, keep them there. Currently, you have the initiative, so speed is your ally.
I always thought I'd have endless questions for you if I ever met you. And I can't think of anything.
Your friend Eric has a misconception regarding how one becomes a member of the cult of Titan. It is chosen. They don't... Indoctrination is not a thing that happens.
Oh. They just pick people and...
They pick people who are likely to be interested in the offer.
Right.
There is no forced joining. You can't force someone to believe. If people are disappearing, it's because they don't agree. You may find more prisons like the one you located. If there is anything in... Josh is struggling to remember the name. Brackenmill. That's what it will be.
That's where we went to the wedding, wasn't it? Eric's hometown.
Yep.
So... to Brackenmill, maybe.
The only other thing I will tell you is there are more than just the two leaders. You've identified the two, but they're not the only ones.
Don't suppose you're going to tell me who they are you?
I am powerful, but I don't know everything. They have ways of obscuring themselves.
Well, then I shall simply have to sneakily find out what they're doing. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I hope that set your mind a little at rest.
Yes. It has. Don't think the others are going to believe me, though.
Why not? Bannock's already met 2 Amaranthines.
True.
It's not that insane.
No. No, it's not.
Trust them.
Although apparently your Jabin friend is just dating a god, so...
It's like, just a Trisha message.
Trust your friends. listen to them, take on board their thoughts. They are the pillars on which you stand.
I had already suspected that.
Then I can give you no more advice that you don't already possess.
That's all. Go see what story Tavernish is up to.
They are good ones. She once again goes to hug you. And when she does so, or once she has done so, as she pulls away, you feel a warmth flow into your cheek. And upon your cheek, as you look out over the water of the river, you can see the stars of Hath glowing on your cheek in your reflection.
Oh. That's pretty cool.
And when you turn back to comment, she's gone.
I'll kind of stand on the bridge for a moment and just kind of breathe in the moment, and then I'll slowly walk back to where Tavernish is with his son.
May I DM speak for a moment?
Sure.
You said time flows a little differently. People here have enough time to let their conversation end. And unfortunately, or actually, in my opinion, very fortunately, I didn't read that many stories. I got 2 or 3 maybe. Because after that, William fell asleep with his head on my chest. And so when you get back, it's been maybe an hour and a half, and he's just sleeping against me, and I've sort of got my eyes half closed. Book curled closed against my against my waist with my thumb wedged in as a bookmark. And I look older, but more. I look older and lighter than you have ever seen me. And when you come back into the room, I just look up at you and give you a half smile. Time to go.
I think so.
And I lean down and I give my son a kiss on the head. And I rest him down and I make sure he's properly tucked in against his pillow, and I stand up. After you.
I don't actually know how we go back.
I think we just walk towards the tree.
Okay.
And
So,
you walk towards the tree. And as you get to it, you turn around to take one last look at your son, Tavernish. And he's lying where you left him, but his eyes are open and he's smiling. And he says, "Fine, my dad. She's not mad at you. She's just with some people that are mine. Bye." And you blamp back.
in my head, it's just, I'm sorry, what? And then
Yeah. Yeah.
so we arrive back in the material plane on the last syllable of what?
What?
Oh,
Well, that is disappointing. But God, I'm happy right now. Was it good for you?
oh,
Because it was good for me.
It was great. I met a god, a nice one.
And
Tavernish.
did he manage to give you some good advice?
Yeah.
Tavernish, on Kesh's cheek glows a trio of stars.
Just FYI, he gave you a tramp stamp.
Tramp stamp is lower back, Tavernish. You are not fooling me with that one.
Fine.
You're
I
no
wonder how
fun.
long this is gonna last. Might be
You have a
hard to
very
explain.
fetching cheek tattoo. And
Thank you.
I tear a page out of my notebook and I sort of start scrawling. And I'm writing a note to my wife, and it just says, I had to do some soul searching. I'll stop by the house every couple of weeks. If you want to get in touch, leave a note for me. And I'll just leave that on the staircase so that she can see it when she comes in the door.
Hey, Nelderberry.
And as I am setting this down, I actually look over my shoulder to Kesh and I say, hey, if you ever need my help, you come back to this house, because like I said, I'll be here every week or two, and you just leave me a note and I will drop everything if I can, and I will come and help. Okay?
Thank you, Tavernish.
I don't know if we're going to be on the same side forever, but I tell you what, we're never going to be against each other, and I'll always do what I can, because right now, after the last 2 hours, I think you're my best friend in the world.
I'm gonna go give Tavernish a big hug.
I hug her back. All right, now stop being a big girl's blouse. You're going to make me cry.
You're gonna make me cry. Oh. Now, I think I have to get back before questions are asked too urgently.
Yep, and I have a wife to find.
A challenge regardless in what situation one is looking for a wife. If it's any help, I think you have decent prospects. You're on the real estate market, that helps.
Fortunately enough, Kesh, I'm not actually in want of one, despite being a man of means. I have one, I just can't seem to find it.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it happens to a lot of men. It doesn't really mean you. It doesn't mean much about you. It's just.
I'm sure you say that to all the guys. Good luck, Kesh.
Only the ones that have lost their wives.
Oh, bitch.
And I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
On bitch.
Oh, bitch.
If I
Yeah.
could add one more thing, it would have just been, try not to die.
Valid.
You too.
And I think we'll leave it there. Amazing.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Right, favorite DM moments?
Oh.
Perhaps.
Well, no, we have a new way of doing it.
Do we? Do we
We
now?
do. Nelberry, could you roll me a
roll.
Can you roll me a D3 in chat, please? Because we are now going to do our favorite moments. We let
Also,
chat
hi,
decide.
Nelberry.
Yeah, good to see you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show this evening. Pretty heavy RP. Yeah, but heckin' lovely. That was really sweet, guys. You nailed it. Knocked that one out of the park. Or Lilith. Lilith, throw us a D3 in chat, please. Exclamation mark, roll space, the number 3. Karen being 3, Rhythm being 2, me being 1. Let's find out who we talk about first.
3 is my lucky number.
Lilith, roll the 2.
Two.
We're talking about
2.
Tavernish first.
Frick.
So, Karen, favorite Tavernish moment?
Oh. I love the story of Tavernish and the Pirate King.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
That was Tavernish at his most blatantly bullshit.
Yeah. I love the story of... I loved why Tavernish is... Hey, Ozquest, good to see you, buddy. Thanks very much for the raid, you excellent individual.
Yo!
Favorite Tavernish, it's definitely it's time to go moment. Yeah, Katie. Yeah. Promethean! Thanks for the
thank you all
resub,
for
you excellent
subscribing.
person. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. OzQuest, let's have a shout out to OzQuest. What were you guys
Thank you for
up
that, KT,
to?
by the way.
Quest. That's the one. Hey, Promethean, good to see you, mate. They were playing Fall Guys. Ooh, that sounds fun. Well, we are doing our favorite moments. You have caught us at the end of our stream, but it's a special one. This is the beginning of season 4 of Monsters and Magic. Season 4. This is, yes, now officially the longest running season of show of Humblewood.
Hey, look at us.
Wait a sec. Karen, that actually makes you the main character of the main show.
Don't inflate my ego any further, Hugh. I won't be able to keep it in this room.
I mean, technically, Kesh, but Trish and Helvig have both been in more episodes, but actually, I'm genuinely not sure Helvig has. But probably. He's done 2 full seasons of Midnight of Madness and about 2.5. He's actually Kesh has done more than Helvig. Yeah. But Trish is far and away. Yeah. The main characters of the show are Trish and Kesh, which is really cute.
Map Hatches for life.
Map Hatch Sisters for life. Yeah. My favorite Tavernish Forks moment was the honesty of why he's going and what he seeks to achieve when he gets there. I envisaged that happening over the grave, and you totally flipped it on its head and did it somewhere completely different, and I loved it. Absolutely
I thought it was going to be over the grave, but it's improv.
Doing it over breakfast was...
It happens where it happens.
Yeah, it was really good. Really loved it. Favorite self?
Honestly, I kind of have to agree with Katie Wolfsbane.
Yeah.
Is it time to go? While just smiling serenely, having de-traumaed from the worst thing in his life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I also really liked your description of Willow. All the Willow stuff was really, really great. Including the name. His name is Will T. Forks. James T. Kirk. Yeah, it's great.
It was only a little bit intentional.
Yeah, that was adorable. Alrighty. Now we need exclamation mark roll space 2 in chat, please, everybody. Somebody Promethean. Me being 1, Karen being 2. DM is always number 1. Crit and Miss rated as well.
Oh, hello.
Favorite raid emotes up in chat, everybody. Raid. Guys, thank you so much for the raid. You excellent individuals. Crit and Miss, thank you so much. Let's have a shout out for Crit and Miss as well. All the raids this evening. Shout out at Crit and Miss. What were you guys doing? Playing D&D. Excellent.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
true.
Thank you so
Excellent
much for
choice.
joining us.
Like it.
We are in our Robbie Hoodie. Thank you very much for the follow, you bloody champion. Avast, matey, you wee scallywag. Yeah, this because as Cove, we do D&D as well. We play in my Humblewood setting, which is by the Hit Point Press, is a third-party setting for D&D 5e. But I have taken it a lot further than I believe any other DM has done on streams. This is our 105th episode, I think, in this world. It's pretty ridiculous. And we have just finished, and we're now doing what we like to do, our favorite moments at the end of the stream, where we talk about all the things that we did well, because this is something we borrowed from the Dreaded GM, and I'm very fond of it, where it's just quite hard to be a creative and an artist, and it's really nice to have a bunch of people tell you you did well, because you did, because this was a really dope stream. I was very, very happy with it. We basically had a seance with Tavernish's young son, who died a little while ago. Y'all make it look easy.
In that spirit, shall we perhaps have one of our raiders roll the dice?
Let's do that. Raiders, if one of you wouldn't mind typing exclamation mark roll space, the number 2, please, to determine which of Karen or I we will be talking about next. Hey, Modbrew.
Which
Got a
one of us will be
2.
assaulted
Robbie
with
Hoodie,
flattery?
Hermes, we all got a 2, and then Modbrew rolled a 1 for me, so I will be going last, as is the tradition.
So on the D1 roll, it was a 1 that was rolled.
Well, actually, Modbrew rolled a 2 and got a 1, but that's after we talk about Kesh. So let's talk about favorite Kesh moments. Favorite Karen moments. Rhythm, what do you reckon?
Honestly, the moment right before we are going into the conversation in the afterlife, and just that single moment of, oh, fuck, what I would give for an hour of just straight answers from someone I can trust.
Yep. Kesh's honest response in return about what she's hoping to achieve. Absolutely, I agree. Yeah. My favorite Kesh moment. I think I really liked Kesh's listening to Tavernish.
Oh yeah.
Particularly his, just when he basically just expositioned and gave her his life story or potted history of his relationship with his wife and his son, and she was just there.
Yeah, and more to the point, was quite clearly aware of the fact that this was a man speaking in order to not melt. Like she was just letting him get it out.
Yeah. And it was really cool. It's like I've known this about Tavernish for a while. Like, so Tavernish has been a recurring character for, I think Tavernish first appeared around about season 2 of Flocks and Fire. Like he's been around for that long. That was season 2 in the world. This is now about season 9. He's been around, just popping in occasionally. The first was a charity game we had over on Roll for Damage. The second was a charity game. In fact, no, the first was a charity game here.
The first was the inaugural marathon of this channel.
It was the first. Yeah, it was. It was the first International Talk Like Josh the Pirate Day, where we did Humble Heist, and then he came back for, that was it, on Roll for Damage. We did a second one, which was a second Tavernish one-shot.
Forks Force 5.
Forks Force 5, where you guys, at the behest of Kral, went and found the secret hideout of this cult, though you didn't know it at the time. Kral just sent you to rob the payroll of the cult for his own band. Yes, for those who are fully up on the Humblewood lore, Kral was the big bad of season 1. Turns out to have had a point all along and called the whole Civil War thing 8 seasons in advance. And
like a dick.
And has been quietly working in the background to try and ameliorate some of the worst effects of it at the behest of Kesh's boss.
Which, strangely enough, just didn't bloody tell anyone.
No. Because he had sworn he wouldn't do exactly what he did in exchange for a pardon. So, yeah, there's that. So yeah, that's fun. Yeah. So having Tavernish come back, and I've known this about Tavernish for quite a while, so it was really cool to be able to tell Tavernish's story, and get a good portion of it out, and get a little bit of closure on this character that we've just seen every now and again. And now he's come back in and he's been a major plot point twice now. And yeah, who knows? Deep Fur may return.
As an honest man.
As an honest man. Oh, that was fun. Karen, favorite self moment?
I liked kind of the bit after kind of Tavernish was worried that his son would be mad at him. and how Kesh responded to that, being like, you know, I don't think he'll be mad at you, and if he is, at least you have a chance to like
make it up to him.
Yeah.
There was a line, if he's half as smart as you, he'll understand. That was really cute. It was a really cute line. And I want to hats off to both of you for the, are we best friends now? Or no, and in fact, no, it was because Tavernish didn't put it on Kesh. He just said, you might be my best friend now. He did not in any way talk like he expected reciprocity. So that was groovy. But yeah, that was really cute. Kesh is best raccoon. Oh, look, Lilith, she's certainly up there.
Top two.
Top 2, maybe 3. I quite like Hath. Alrighty, cool. Well, glorious. Thank you very much for those favourite moments. So we should probably go away from here because we've been streaming for a gosh darn while.
Oh, you're doing the
Josh
thing.
the Pirates.
It's like the comedian that walks off stage and we all know you're going to come back and tell the story that we all came to hear.
Encore.
There was a post on Instagram that I saw this morning about people with ADHD. Craves validation, hates receiving compliments, doesn't know how to receive compliments.
Yep.
Craves it anyway, actively
Secretly
seeks
loves
it out,
them.
but also cannot admit that they do so. Yeah.
That's the thing about people with ADHD. We tend to destroy ourselves with our own pleasures.
Katie Willspade. Oh, hey, it's me. Yeah, that. All right, go on then. Favorite moments. It was rolled in chat and everything. Tell me how good I am.
Favorite Josh moment.
Oh, Robert Hoodie, yes. I hate compliments, but get sad when I never get any.
Yeah. Yep.
The popularity whore in me feels that a bit too hard.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah.
Like, why has no one said nice things about my work? And then people say nice things. I'm like, please stop. It makes me uncomfortable.
And then the bad voice in my head says, maybe because you haven't published in over a year.
Yeah.
Hey, Rhythm, do you know how many novels I've written?
How many?
The only novel that I'm halfway through writing recently got lost because the hard drive died.
You know what, Karen? Do you know how many plays I've written, directed, and starred in? Very few. Now then, favorite Josh moment. I'm gonna say, unfortunately, there's not a lot to go on. He wasn't very good this
I
episode.
didn't say it.
I reckon, honestly, the conversation with the Amaranthine, because he was very responsive there. Because Kesh had a lot of, it wasn't just stress, it was insecurity at just how much weight is being placed on her and just how much hero factor everyone seems to see in her, and how aware she is of the fact that she's basically being asked to simultaneously prevent 3 wars.
No pressure, right?
And Josh being able to react to that in real time and pass it through a filter of, oh, right, I'm an all-seeing God, at the same time as kind of being a limited and emotionally feeling being, was really cool. And I thought that was some very good character acting. So that's my bit.
Thank you. Yeah, I was pretty happy with Hath.
I really enjoyed the description of Will's bedroom and how it kind of had manifested in this garden.
It's sort of a liminal space.
Yeah, that was a lovely detail. It was very evocative. I knew exactly what you meant.
Sort of like the image I got was that it was sort of Hath himself had built a compounded space of all of this kid's safe spaces sort of layered over each other.
An onion of wholesomeness.
Yeah.
Or a cake. Yeah.
A turducken.
A turducken of wholesomeness.
If cakes and onions both have layers, then do cakes have an onion layer?
Well, it depends on the cake. My favorite self moment is threading in the stuff about Aurora.
Yeah, that was good. Because the footprints thing, yeah. And also, so hang on, is my son a spy master from the afterlife?
No, he's just really interested in what his parents are doing.
Yeah, but the way he phrased it, it was like he has agents operating in the mortal world, actively protecting his own mother, and he actually watched her communicating with a spy about his dad.
Not a spy. And I'm not going to give you any more information about be right back, carving Turducken of wholesomeness into a stone for posterity. Nice Promethean.
You're welcome. You can...
I'm not giving you any more hints about what's going on there than I've already done. But he saw her talking to Kral. Kral is not a spy master exactly. Clipping that
Just
phrase for Josh.
A generalized bastard? Or is he a good guy?
He is a bit of both. He is problematic. He opposed the party because he said you cannot trust the Birdfolk Council, they will betray you. And they fucking did. He said they will never live up to any deal you make with them. And they didn't. But he was the baddie at the time because he was in opposition to the main characters of the story, not because he was wrong. He also wasn't very nice about the way he went about being right. Yeah. But I maintain Kral was right, and he said he didn't try and kill him. He locked them in a prison and he said, I'm going to keep you here for a little while until I can get Benna safely away from you, and then I will have you taken a long way away so that you are never going to get to talk to her because she will take you up on this offer, which will be bad for all the people who rely on me and her. And he was not 100% right, but he wasn't wrong.
I feel like this is a pretty common theme with your antagonists, is they're pretty often good people with not very much experience at how being a good person works.
Josh, could you do something really refreshing and just let someone be a stone cold asshole? They do
Hey,
exist,
you killed Scops.
I mean, there is a politician upstairs who we very resolutely didn't set on fire.
Sobel is a monster. Go ahead, do it. The only problem with killing Sobel is that you'll make a martyr of him, so you really need to do something else. And that you have to figure out for yourself.
So really, I think what we're asking for here is a killable asshole, please.
Sure.
Someone who's the bad guy, we all agree they're the bad guy, and then we kill them and everyone's like, yay!
Yeah, a dragon, say.
I've had exactly 2 dragons in my world, and both of them have been nice.
They're like, you've met Josh's dragons, they're not slayable.
Fine. I'll be the racist dragon.
He's misunderstood. All right. Yeah, Josh is great at playing antagonistic NPCs in the areas of grey. Katie Wilspain, the problem is, it's actually really hard for me to not play one, and to have a villain who doesn't have a good reason. It's really hard to, playing Menzoloth was a lot harder. And it's worthy to point out, Menzoloth was wrong and bad. And you killed him. Congratulations. You killed a villain that was right to hate. And yeah, Menzoloth was really hard to play because Menzoloth was wrong. And it's the hardest, I find really difficult, to be play a genuinely evil character who seeks out the thing that they are doing for evil reasons. Because a lot of evil goals are fucking dumb. They don't make sense. Like, I want to destroy the world, but we live in the world. You live in the world, and everyone lives. There's no point. That's stupid. I want to take over everything, sure, and then you've got to have all the bureaucracy. It's really hard. It's like, no, I will rule with an iron fist. Okay, sure. That's about as close as it can get.
The problem with evil is that morality tends to be inherently logical.
Yeah.
So being amoral kind of means just being dumb.
Logical. Yeah. A bit stupid. Yeah. Anyway, we can get into the deep in the weeds on this one, and Rhythm and I often do, but not live. Let's not do it live. I mean, even Thanos had good intentions. Yeah, Thanos's goal was fucking stupid.
Incredibly dumb.
Like, what happened after the Second World War? A baby boom. Something awful happens, that everybody goes into reproduction overdrive. His whole thing is there isn't enough resources in the galaxy, so I'll just kill half of everyone. I'm like, well,
And
yeah,
they'll be
you'll
back
have
up
to
to
keep
numbers in,
doing
like,
that
3
in like 2
generations.
generations. Yeah. So stupid.
We hate Thanos.
Yeah,
We're not
Rhythm
a
and I
pro
really
Thanos.
hate Thanos.
Yeah.
Many are deep and meaningful about Thanos. Alrighty, well, guys, we should go away from here now because we've been streaming for a gosh darn while. But before we do that, Karen, can you tell me about the Ukraine?
I can, Josh. The Ukraine have had a rough year. Unfortunately, that war they're involved in that they did not start, other than being Ukraine. I don't know if we can blame them for that, really. It's still going on. So if you have some spare pennies that you would like to donate to help Ukrainian people, you can do so. There are 2 links. First one is the Emergency Action Appeal, which is a group of charities and not-for-profits that you can donate to. This specifically goes to help Ukrainian refugees, of which there were some 11 million the last time I checked.
A while ago
It's
now.
probably more now.
Yeah.
It's probably more now. And the second is for the Curious Compendium of Slavic Myth, which is a wonderful little mini D&D booklet, which is inspired by the Ukraine and the surrounding area. It's got some subclasses, got some creatures, it's got a wonderful one-shot, gorgeous map. And yes, it can be yours for the low donation price of £1, which you can increase to your heart's content. So if you've just won the lotto and just all those millions of dollars just really burning a hole in your bank account, send it to me, but also send some to the Ukraine.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've just won the lotto, please, a sub.
Please sub to our channel.
In fact, support them on Patreon. Buy their Patreon. Buy them a car.
I've always wanted a purple mini. Just putting it out there.
My
Made
rabbits
of
are eating my
chocolate.
house. Can I have a rabbit-proof house? Yeah, and
Or
if
a
you would like
house-proof
to
rabbit.
see, my rabbits are both houseproof. Tori has eaten a fair amount of house, and he looked totally fine. If you would like to see the one shot in that little 38-page booklet, the Curious Compendium of Slavic Myth, you can do so because we played it, and the episode is up on our YouTube. The Legend of the Firebird, the Zhar Petitsa. Who doesn't want a purple mini? Well, quite Lilith. Yeah, that's the Ukraine, the Ukrainian people. We also need to talk about the wonderful folks at Wooten Forge at the other end of the awful spectrum. These guys make incredible
Not awful at
handcrafted
all.
wooden tabletop accessories, like this gorgeous thing. I'll take anything purple, exactly. This is Jarrah Dice Keeper, and I'm very, very fond of it. I roll all my dice in it. Karen's holding up a Wooten Forge coin that they printed for us. That is the Corsair's Cove coin. Which is a fun alliteration to say, and Rhythm has got one of their adventurers' chests printed with
dice
the
holder.
name Rhythm in the Mind on it as well.
Rhythm in the mind.
Gorgeous. It's very, very cool things. They make some excellent stuff, and you can check them out at woodenforge.com/Corsairs Cove. And if you do, we get a cheeky kickback from anything you buy, you bloody champion. So please consider spending large quantities of money over there. You'll get something,
Maybe all
we'll
those
get something,
lottery
everybody
winnings,
gets something.
you know?
Really cool. Yeah. Yes. A bunch of stoned lottery winners watching this channel. We were like, yes. That's the other thing. Sirenscape is the people providing our music this evening. All the music that is gracing your ear holes. That's Sirenscape. Karen, who the absolute heck are you?
I am Karen, sometimes known as the Mother of Bunnies. You can follow me on Twitter at MotherOBunnies, where I retweet bunny pictures and get mad about stuff.
Yeah.
You can also find me here semi-regularly. I'll be back on Monday night, where we're doing some 1v1 RPG stoof. And at some point, I'm going to come back and do the cult ending of Dream Daddy because, yes, secret cult ending.
Was that Stoof with an umlaut?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Stoof.
Okay, good.
So it's
All the best stuff is actually Stoof. You can also follow me on Instagram, Miss Lola Moore, my Bella's alter ego. I do have some live performances coming up, but I can't remember the dates because I'm tired and very, very hungry.
Same, right?
You can also listen to the D&D podcast, There Be Dragons, via your preferred podcasting platform.
Exactly.
Yay.
Rhythm, who the absolute heck are you?
I, the absolute heck, am Rhythm. I write Touch over at touchwebserial.com. It is a web novel that I can proudly say is, on average, about as heavy as this episode was.
Can confirm. I've read the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about
On
as
average,
heavy and
it's got some
honestly,
peaks and troughs.
It's about as heavy as this was, and honestly, about as well written.
I'll pay that.
That's basically all I can say. You can find it over on touchwebserial.com, and when I'm not doing that, I'm either playing D&D or trying to finish my master's degree.
Or sleeping. Sometimes that. Not often, but sometimes.
Very rarely.
And Madame et Monsieur, Dame und Herren, and beings of indeterminate gender and persuasion, I be Josh the Pirate. You can find me here on my channel, Corsair's Cove, which I run with my lovely lady wife, the mother of bunnies. She owns half of it. She won't let me forget it. And she's extremely helpful in that. We run D&D here Mondays and Thursdays, sometimes. We run Humblewood Mondays and Thursdays, but it alternates. Seesaws, flip-flops. We just finished Humblewood Strahd Season 2, Humblewood Curse of Strahd crossover, Strumblewood, as we call it, and that's going very well. No problems there. Helvig just got yeeted back to the plane of fire again. He's like a bloody boomerang, that kid. And this coming week, Cato Sullivan, Malika Moon, Ardana, the Lawrite herself, and Sir Terrace will be joining me on Wednesday next week for some more Teens in Space! Promethean, we just couldn't get enough of it. We're going back for more. Mandy, Uzi Mandeus, and Spot, and Skylar, and Zuran, I think. Zulan or something. I think it's Zulan. Will be back for the second half of their little adventure in space. Zuran. Thank you, Kate. On Tuesday night, I will be taking a look at the enormous pile of TTRPGs that I acquired in a bundle that supports TTRPGs for trans rights in Florida. That was a really cool bundle. Best $10 I ever spent. 500 files, like over 100 different games, Rhythm. It's insane. For the low price of minimum $5 donation, I'm just like, you could have a little more than $5. You deserve it.
5 cents a game.
Yeah, I know, right? It's insane. Woo, space. Exactly right, Promethean. That's what I'm doing on Tuesday. And on Monday, I'm working backwards now. Karen and I will be playing some of the ones that I already tried. And I want to play with an actual person now, rather than just on my own. I definitely want to do the game, which is called I Was Once, which is a solo journaling game, but can definitely be played two-player, where you describe the backstory and history of a magical artifact that you are. As it slowly degrades, the magic wears off over time. It's created by a deity, and then it slowly wears out.
That sounds conceptually awesome.
It's freaking cool, and I think intrigued. It's a really neat way of building sentient magic items for D&D. And a lot of them that I found so far are really cool, like insert this setting, this narrative, this character, using it to build a character, using it to build a little setting, using it to build a little item for a larger narrative. A lot of them would be very, very cool for that. But yeah, definitely I want to play that.
I can super see that, actually. You know, just sort of like, I was once a blade that slayed a god.
Yeah.
And just
that's dead set one of them.
Taking that through.
Yeah.
And seeing how it progresses.
Check out the VODs. It's on. I did it. I talked about it. I actually played the first third of it. I did. It's quite a long thing, and but I did the first third of the story. It talks you through on our Tuesday night Tactics Tuesday. Then on Friday night, I will be over on the Law Rights channel, playing some 7th Sea in a brand new campaign with Sir Terrace in the Summerfelt Duchies, Ardana's original homebrew setting, and we will be playing Shadow over Morna is the name of the campaign, and I will be playing Olenya, a detective with a secret.
Whoop, indeed, Lilith.
Exactly. Whoop, whoop. And then next Thursday, more Humblewood of Monsters and Magic. The whole crew will be back, but Tavernish won't. This is the last we'll see of Tavernish.
Yeah, no, I'm leaving.
He is busy boy. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Yes, you do have a wife to find. We will now go and raid one of our stream team buddies, which is a really cool thing to say. We have been invited to a stream team. We are now members of the Rolling Together stream team. And so is...
your dream machine.
so is Phoenixy Wacky. And we're going to raid John, because John's a lovely man. So, throw your favourite raid emotes up in chat. Tell John and Phoenix and everybody over there where you came from. Show them the love like we always do. And we will see you same bat time, same bat channel on Monday night for more TTRPGs. And if you want to come and hang out tomorrow night over on the Law Right, do that. In fact, I'm just going to type Ardana. There. That channel there. There you go. So, yeah. Thanks very much for joining us, guys. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.